when you really start to say, like, what do I really, really care about? And I think as I thought about selling my business, yes, there was money in the selling of the business and transitioning out, but there was more opportunity to go and be with people and care for people. And so my favorite thing about working as the owner of my plumbing company was this deep care for supporting and building better lives for my team, and then serving our community.
Welcome, everybody, back. Another episode of the Hard-Headed CEO. And today we got a treat all the way from Pennsylvania, Bethlehem, actually. And that's not where Jesus was born. But other than that, it's in Pennsylvania here. We're going to talk with Nate Agentis. Nate is a CEO, or was a CEO. The best part of it, he is still, but he sold his business and was what some people always dream of, and working on some other things. And he's here to help us today talk about our teams, are not getting burnt out, serving beyond the job site as well. So please help me welcome Nate. Nate, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me on the show. It's great to be here. Love your podcast. Love what you're doing and getting the good stuff out into the marketplace for tradespeople.
Thank you, Nate. Tell us a little bit about yourself before we get into the nitty gritty of what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah. So Nate Agentis, Bethlehem, PA, like you said, third generation plumber. Grew up with plumbing my whole life. My grandpa learned plumbing in the Korean War, came out of the Korean War, and had his own business for a long time. Great business, great person, not always the best businessman. So ran into some tax trouble and lost the company. But my dad, he was 19 at the time, took up the mantle and really worked hard. And that's kind of the world I grew up in. My mom and dad running the plumbing business out of our house from 1980 to 1996. And I learned from putting fittings away as technician on the road and the ins and out of a plumbing company all those years. And my mom unfortunately passed away in 2012, and that was kind of sudden, and that was kind of the transition for me to buy the business from my dad, begin my own journey as the owner and the leader of a plumbing company, and grew it to triple from the time I bought it from my dad, and was able to do an acquisition at the end of 2024, which was just a great opportunity for me and my family, and kind of help live out some of the other dreams and ways that I desire to help people, which we're going to talk about today a little bit.
And we are going to talk about that. At what point did you decide, man, it's time for me to start phasing out and try something different?
That's a good question. So I think never. I was like, I'm never selling this thing. I have lots of kids. I'm like, I'm sure one of my kids are going to want to go into it. And then, you see that time clock ticking. I'm sure you felt that yourself, right? You're like, oh, yeah. 30s. Oh, 40s. Oh, like, and what the heck?
Yeah.
My kids aren't babies anymore, right? They're off in college and they're doing their thing. And it started creating conversation with them of like, what do you guys want to do? And there just really didn't seem a lot of desire to be in the business. They've all kind of worked in it at different times and done different aspects, but they kind of had their own dreams and their own veins. And I was like, all right, well, we're here to support what's on your heart and where you feel led. And so I just kind of started contemplating where I was at in life and what the future looked like. And at that time I was speaking at different trade shows. Got the opportunity to do that like starting 2020, and was just kind of bringing some good word of like encouragement and business growth. And then that led to like, hey, can you coach me? So I was coaching like a dozen different business owners within the market space and teaching. And I was like, man, I'm loving this. This is my dream. And somebody came along in 2024 and pretty much said, here's a 10-year advance on life if you sell your business over to us and help transition. And I was like, well, that sounds great. And then I can go and do more of this kind of stuff and help others in a bigger scale. And it kind of all clicked, just slowly. It wasn't like, I'm going to sell my business someday. That really wasn't a thought process.
Like an opportunity arose and you took it. And
yeah.
So you obviously go ahead.
Hey, when you find something you love, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love being a tradesman, but then that changes over time. And when you really see like, wow, I can do more of what I love, I want to keep trying to do more of that.
So you haven't got out of the trades per se. You're still
No.
doing it, but you're in the consulting side, the coaching
Mhm.
side. How do you help most people? What do you see as the most kind of the obvious ones that we look at? We do
Yeah.
consulting too. You kind of look at it, it's like, all right, well, this
Yeah.
is the first thing I do. All right, so
Yeah. One of the obvious things that we help tradespeople do,
yeah,
couple things, right? Finances are a big one.
yep,
We're all tradespeople. Most of us have been technicians, and we've moved from truck into the office. And maybe we hired some people, maybe we got the marketing going, and we're actually growing our business. We're actually making more money. But you start saying things like, "What's a KPI? What's your P&L? What's your balance sheet look like? How's your cash flow for the next 90 days?" And they're like, "Huh?" Like, I
yeah.
don't.
What do you?
How much do I owe the tax man? How much is in the bank account?
Yep,
That's
that's
what I
what we
know,
know.
right?
Yeah,
That's what we know,
no, I
right?
have
And
enough
that's
today to write the check. Yeah,
what's going out, what's coming
yeah,
in is one bigger than the other.
yep. That's the truth. I
Yeah,
mean,
and
that's sad, but
it
yeah, it's true.
is. It is. And we're tradespeople, right? Like we didn't go to college for accounting, we didn't go to college for finances, we didn't try to be tax people, right? And so like we're good with our hands, we're good at solving problems. I think sometimes when we step into the business world, we forget like what a big piece that is. And so finances is a big one. Second one would be definitely marketing. Um, Google's a monster, especially if you're in any kind of like reactive business like us with service plumbing or HVAC service. Like you're spending a ton of money on marketing, or maybe you're not, but you're not growing, and you're trying to figure out like what's the right way to spend that, what's the right way to do that. And so you see a lot of people having a lot of emotional swings of marketing's great, marketing's a fortune, marketing's I'm losing so much money marketing.
I have,
um
we have
and
a
you
digital
go,
marketing company, and
Mhm.
much more than the amount of business we do. And you're
Nice.
right. Some people have the right idea, and then
Hmm.
some people don't hate it, which is fine. I'm just like, that's fine. We're not
Hmm.
here to make you do it if that's what you want to do. But
Right.
if, at some point, you might be interested in
You
growing.
might need
Yeah, you might need it. I don't know.
it.
Well, and we had that conversation about, well, I just want leads. Well, I can get you leads, but
Yeah,
just because I get you leads don't mean you're going to get the sale.
that's right.
And
That's
that's a
right.
whole other subject. Um, when I do some consult, we look at a lot of time, because my point
Hmm.
was, if I can't free up your time, you're not going to do the things I need you to do.
That's right.
And
That's right.
that's the first point we look at. Say, how much time do you have available to put towards
Hmm.
what? Well, I don't. Well, then let's work on that first, and then we're going to
Hmm.
get more into the weeds. But you're not going to
Hmm.
do those weeds until you get your free time. So
That's right. Well, isn't that part of like strategic planning? That's probably what I would say next is
yeah,
like nobody's kind of planned out like where they're going, right?
no,
Like we just are kind
no,
of winging it, right? We're just like putting out today's fires. We haven't thought 1, 3, 5 years out. We don't really have a plan for that. And so like when you talk about having time for operations, we don't even really know what that means, because like I'm just putting out the fires today, and then I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and put out next day's fires, and we're gonna try to make some money, and we hope that's enough. And that's, you get to a spot where you just realize that's not enough. Like if you can't
no.
work on your business, then you're not going to be able to grow it.
Hey,
You know what I mean?
let's stop the fires, and if they do come up, have somebody else deal with it, not you.
Exactly right.
So
Exactly right. Yep. Fire prevention
I mentioned
is
earlier,
key.
well, yeah, fire prevention is key. Um, we talked a little bit earlier about burnout, and let's talk about those guys that are stressed. They get those, I'm putting out fires every day, and
Hmm.
it wears on you. It has to. Well, I know it
It
does.
does.
So how do
Hmm.
you help guys in the trade get over that burnout, or I would say preventative maintenance, basically
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
yourself?
I actually just spoke at it was called the Rugged Show, and it was put out by PHCP Pros. They're a magazine out there for tradespeople, and they did like an event out in Chicago just for health and wellness, and I got to speak on the exact topic you're talking about, burnout,
Awesome. Yeah.
and just helping people, one, identify what burnout is, like the definition of it, right? The emotional stress, the strain, the constant pressures to meet the demands, right? The wear and tear on the body, the emotions, the physical, the spiritual, like all those things that like we start to find coping mechanisms, whether that's addictive behavior, whether that's health issues, right? We start to see all these different signs. We don't want to call it burnout. We just want to call it, I'm stressed, or I just don't feel good, or I just got to get over this hump, or right. But like when we accept, like, oh my God, I'm actually burning out. I'm actually like, I'm in a compromising situation. I gotta get some fix here. So first part is that humility piece of like recognizing like maybe I'm not living the most healthy lifestyle right now. Maybe my family is hurting because of my work schedule or my
Hmm.
overworking, right?
Or
And
what I did was lack of patience, because I used all my patience during the day to deal with the stuff I was trying to put out or fix. And my patience tank was empty. Now,
uh-huh.
some people call it other things, but I was done when I got home. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to nobody. Leave me alone.
I love that. I love my patience tank with it empty. I'm going
Yeah.
to use that down the road, right? I shared a story at the session. I said, I remember, I'm a young leader. I'm totally fried. I don't even know I'm fried. I am on my cell phone. I hang up over on this frustrating call. I spin around in my chair and I whip my phone into this like door as hard as I can, and the phone just blows into a million pieces. And my dispatcher is looking at me like, "What the heck are you doing?" And I told everybody at that meeting, I said, like, that was one of my points of being like, huh, I think something's wrong. I think something inside might not be right, that I gotta start working on. So I really challenge people to say, like, what are the things you really care about? Like when you think of like your legacy, the word legacy in my new book, I write like leave a lasting legacy is one of the things we talk about. Or
Hmm.
when you think about like your eulogy, when people stand up and talk about you and reflect on your life, like nobody wants to be called a workaholic. Nobody wants to be called a disconnected dad, an absent husband, an alcoholic, an unhealthy lifestyle person, someone who sleeps 3, 4 hours a night and stares at the ceiling, tossing and turning. Like nobody wants those things to be mentioned at their eulogy, but yet our lifestyle, what we spend our energy and what we most important, just keeps producing that kind of stuff. And so like I start asking questions, I give like a little balance wheel and I say like, rate your family life 1 to 10. Rate your support community 1 to 10. Rate your emotional health 1 to 10. How about your fitness and nutrition? When was the last time you took a vacation? When was the last time you just sat on the beach or walked in the woods and just thought about goals, thought about life, breathed in fresh air? Right. And what we realized quickly is like, oh my gosh, this is not good. This is, this is terrible. Right. Like this
Right.
is
Oh,
terrible.
yeah. Like,
A 4, a 3, a 2, a 5, right? And you have like
now,
maybe 1 or 2 things you're good at, but like what you realize is the 10 things you're probably not doing as well on.
and now I want to preface that if you do that, and when you do that, not if, I want you to, and you're harder on yourself than most people are.
That's right.
So your score is going to be a little lower than probably reality.
That's right. Exactly right.
So don't be off, like, don't kick yourself when you're done. Now, if it's
That's right.
low, it probably needs help. Don't get me wrong. And you
Hmm.
contact people like Nate and I to help you get out of that process.
Hmm.
But
Yep.
no, but those
Yeah.
things that he just mentioned are perfect to evaluate
Yeah. You're
yourself.
never
Yeah.
going to be perfect, right? But the point
No.
is like we don't think about evaluating it enough. And then, like you said, when we do something like that, we go into despair because we are so hard on ourselves and we
Yep.
lose compassion for ourselves, right? And then
Hmm.
that affects how we have compassion on our people who make mistakes, or the frustrating customer. We lack compassion with them because like it actually reflects back to you don't have compassion for yourself, right? Of
Yeah.
course you're going to make mistakes, of course you're going to fail, of course you're not going to do anything right, but like are you actually thinking about protecting your family, protecting your health, protecting your emotional state while you're trying to grow your business? Because you can't wait till your business is like, well, when I get it to 10 million and I got a leadership team, then I'm going to get real healthy. It doesn't work like that. You'll never make it. You know what I mean?
Dan Sullivan, well, you know him or not, but I read his books, and he talks about the gap of the gain. Well, if you're looking forward, that's the gap. You're not there yet. And we
Hmm.
forget about the gain we made from, say, last week or a year ago. And you always celebrate the gain, knowing that
That's right.
that we're moving towards that end goal. So always celebrate what you've been doing. And it's going to tie, I think, back to your book here later we're going to talk about. But
Hmm.
always looking at where you're going. and getting
Love
there.
that. Exactly, right? One of the things I share is like, you got to look, it's like look back, look forward,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's like, if I look back, I can see like, man, I am not the same person. Man, my business has come this far. Man, look how far I've grown. Look at the steps I've made. Look at the better dad I am. Look at those things, right? But that doesn't mean like you've arrived and you can
Correct.
stop, right? It's like, where can I get better? What do I want my legacy to look like? Where can I make improvements that I'm even like, one of the things I teach my children, right, is like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, like I'm making mistakes and trying to fix those. So like you don't have to make them. Right. So like I can share with you, like, hey, don't do that. That's a terrible idea. It always leads to this. Like, think about it this way. Right. And I think like that's what a lifetime of learning and a lifetime of humility looks like. Right. It's great to be like, I've done good things and I'm excited about those good things, but it's also good to be, I have a lot to learn. Me and you have a lot to teach each other, just even in this conversation,
Oh,
right? We're just learning
absolutely.
from each other, right? Like
Oh,
that's the best part of life, learning from each other.
and some goals, not all goals, some goals you do attain, but some goals are like a horizon. You're never going to get there, or it's always
Never.
moving. You know,
Right.
maybe you do hit that one goal, but then now it's next. What's the next goal? And you're always moving forward and keep
That's right.
going. But you look back, like you said, and say, "Ooh, we were there." What can you give me before we move on to a different subject? Can you give me a couple of say ways, 3 ways to avoid burnout, overcome burnout that you teach? And we don't get into the details, but some big picture things that, like for example, get enough sleep or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So I would say avoiding burnout right down to what means the most to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
What matters the most? Like we think about strategic business plans where we're like, where are we going as a business?
Yep.
Like that starts in the heart and in the mind of like, where am I going as a person? Like, what do I actually care about? What do I want to be? So that's, I think, the first step, because then that'll help bring perspective, because sometimes we get really lost in like the fires and the drama of our business. We miss like the internal work. Number two, um, get help, right? I think like we're scared to say like, I'm struggling. I don't know how to read my financials. I don't know how to hire a service manager. I don't know how to build my flat rate. I don't know how to blah, 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 blah. All the
Sure.
different things, right? Like go get somebody to support you in that, because it just provides just wisdom and insight at another level, that can really, really help you grow. And the last part is like small steps. Like small steps of change with consistency is the answer. Like you try to take a big step, you try to like, I'm gonna work on my fitness, I'm gonna have a better attitude, I'm gonna do this thing, I'm gonna fix these 3 things in my business, I'm gonna get it all done. You're gonna just keep like
Roller coaster. Yeah.
right, emotional failing, like wearing yourself out, because you're not taking them into small steps where, right, slow, steady, consistent effort is what really brings change, not only to your business, but more importantly to your personal life. Right? Go to the gym one time or go to the gym like crazy. I went to the gym 8 hours every day for a whole week. Everyone's gonna be like, that's stupid. What are you doing? Like, that's not how you work out. Like, you work out like an hour, 3, 4 times a week, and you just keep doing that
Mm-hmm.
over 6 months, and then you get somewhere. Right. And sometimes
Yeah.
we forget that, like, it's the small steps that actually bring the big gains in life.
I've lived that life as far as diets go for all my life. And just so you know that you're going to fall off the old wagon, but you just get back on it.
That's right.
I just,
That's it's okay. It's okay,
yeah,
right? We're humans.
that's right. And there's nothing
We're
you do
gonna
to go back. It's just moving forward.
that's right. You fail when you quit,
This
right?
kind of
When you
ties in. Oh, yeah, you fail. Yeah, when you quit, you're done.
you're done.
This, when the first example you gave was like strategies for your business and so forth,
Yeah.
it kind of ties well into this next question. We briefly brought it up before we started, but there's a deeper meaning to the business or just in general than just making money, right?
Absolutely.
Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah. I think so often, right? Like we go in the business because maybe we were a technician and we saw kind of our cap right? I'm only going to be able to make X amount of money. I'm only going to get so far in the company. I think maybe I can go out on my own. I think I can do this. I can provide a better life for my family. And that's all super true, right?
Hmm.
Freedom, more finances, more money, like amazing. Um, but if that's like your vision statement, if that's really like the only thing that matters, that's not going to work out real well, because like that bug of money and that bug of stuff never is satisfied. Doesn't matter if it's 3 million, 5 million, 10 million, 20 million. It never goes away. Like there's always that hunger for more. It's when you really start to say like, what do I really, really care about? And I think as I thought about selling my business, yes, there was money in the selling of the business and transitioning out, but there was more opportunity to go and be with people and care for people. And so my favorite thing about working as the owner of my plumbing company was this deep care for supporting and building better lives for my team, and then serving our community, right? Like I just talked all the time about hearts of a servant, hearts of a servant. Like, guys, it's called service plumbing, right? You are servants, whether you like that or not, right? I know, and that's part of the pain you feel because it's hard and you're stepping into people's yucky situations. But think about their side of like how they're relieved, how you're providing support and love and care in the midst of a darker situation for them. And I think when we get our mindset around people business, it starts putting more heart and meat behind the work we do rather than just turning the wrench and making money for it.
Well, I'm a general contractor as well. We have a building company. We build houses and barns and so forth. And from our point of view, it's a good thing. They're calling us. There's something new. They have a dream. They want to see it fulfilled.
Mhm.
And plumbers, unless it's construction, they're not calling you because they want to see you.
That's right.
I mean,
Not
you're
at all.
coming to solve a problem that they have.
That's right.
And some of them, are very nasty. I'm a
Yeah.
landlord too. I used to build plumbing, so I know all about that.
Yeah.
Ooh-wee.
I say that all the time. I said nobody ever put $1,000 away and was like, man, I think I'm gonna call my plumber. I'm
Yeah.
dying to spend this money. Like I think I'll just call him and use them for whatever. It's like no one thinks that way. Nobody wants to spend $1 on a plumber. Nobody wants to deal with a broken pipe or a leaking water heater. Like that's so frustrating. And right, so then
Cold
we bear
shower.
that. Yeah, cold shower. You wake up, you're trying to go to work, trying to get the kids to school, and you got sewage in your basement, or you got a freezing cold shower, and you're frustrated as heck because now you're late, you're inconvenienced, and now it's going to cost you money.
Yeah.
Right.
Cold,
And so as we step into that situation, and that's sometimes difficult with our customers.
cold showers are only good for 16-year-old boys. And other than that, they say you can take them and lose weight, and that's bullshit too. But anyway, I'm a proof of that. Anyway, we'll just get on something else here. We talk about serving. You talk a lot about serving beyond the job site.
Yeah.
Is that like just giving, or is that actually participating too?
Yeah. So, one of the things that I did as I separated out from owning the business is started a nonprofit. It's called Hope for the Trades. And the goal of that is to provide resources for contractors for business, like so books and online curriculum and vetted partners to help them know, some good partners to connect to or get some discounts with some partners. So that's kind of like the business side. But then there's like a life piece of like, how do you care for the person? So we're doing like workshops and retreats and marriage and family counseling and connecting to some really good people that do that well. And lastly, then as you get your business healthy, as you get your life healthy, how do you carry that into serving others? And we're doing that through domestic humanitarian relief efforts like Texas flooding and different things like that. And then we're also going international, Nicaragua, Dominican Republic, just Honduras, building homes for people who live on landfills, building garden centers, putting in playgrounds for kids that have never seen a playground, just providing life-sustaining, changing things. And we've been taking our teams over there, and obviously skilled tradespeople build things so well. Man, it's awesome seeing
That is awesome.
50-year-olds cry, just bawling their eyes out, saying like, this is the most life-changing thing I've ever done. I've never experienced anything like this. But you got to be healthy, right? Your business got to be in a good spot. You got to be in a good spot. That's our goal. And then what we do is say like, okay, let's go. Everybody who's ready to go, let's take that take that to the world if we can.
So what you just mentioned, and what I discussed earlier about time, you got to have a team in place to do all this stuff. You got to rely on somebody else to do it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
As your plumbers in your group, they seeing the struggles with keeping good talent or even getting talent.
No, yeah.
What do they do differently? Are they doing self-training or all the above? Or
yeah, I think it's a revolving door, and never has an exact magic wand of, I just shared recently of like, getting good people, retaining good people, and training people are obviously like hot issues, in the marketplace, and all those are a little bit different, right? Like finding people is a complete different strategy of how do I do that? How do I have a business that attracts people? How do I do something other than Indeed, like everybody else does, right? We got to like have other creative ways of doing that. Okay, now I have people. How do I keep a business culture good enough to keep them? So I keep them growing and training and learning, and have growth paths for them. And our workplace is a place of peace and joy, not cursing and tearing each other down. And then lastly, right, you have this little surge of youth coming in, which is exciting for the trades. But, 3 18-year-olds, a 20-year-old, and a 21-year-old in your business is very challenging to get work done, make money, and not hurt anybody, right? Because it's just such a long learning curve. And so that just requires what we would call a mentorship or an apprentice program, where you're building out some sort of formal training process for that talent, or sending them to a trade school to go learn for a few weeks, and then teaching them how to do it in the truck, or writing procedures, and just some sort of system and process to do that. And we try to help coach people in that all the time. But yeah, it's like you can't just look at it as one thing, right? Because it's not just like, oh, I have a good culture, we have a great culture. Okay, well, people who aren't in your company yet have no clue, and that doesn't make the 19-year-old know how to take care of Mrs. Jones, right? That just means it's a nice place to work. So you have to think about all three of those pieces and spend time working on each one in different ways. And that's sort of what the book talks about. One chapter's on skilled technicians, one chapter's on sticky culture, right? Got to have a good culture, and you got to train your techs.
Let's talk about the book now.
Yeah.
I want to check silly. What's the name of your book?
So it's a leadership playbook for the trades, but the book's called Get Shit Done.
I love that. I love that title.
It's a good plumbing title, right?
Yeah,
Like,
that's right.
across, but also has like a business punchy hit to it. But it's really about how to grow your business, build a strong team, and leave a lasting legacy. So it's kind of somebody who's going into the trades. It's going to help them learn how to start a business off on the right foot. If somebody's already in the trades, it's going to say like, hey, here are the 5 pillars to really help have a healthy, strong business. And that's, a healthy owner starts with a healthy owner, then goes to a sticky culture. Then we need to train our technicians. We got to have efficient operations for how everything works together. And then we got to have clear metrics, knowing like what we're doing, what we're spending our time and money on, is it actually working for us to reach our goals. And oftentimes we maybe have like 1 or 2 of those in our play, and we can make some money with that. But like when you can get all 5 of those pillars firing on all cylinders and working in sync, man, you can really expedite your growth in your company.
Is the goal at the end of the day for the CEO to step back and let the machine run itself? It's running on all cylinders.
Yeah.
That's my goal for the CEO. Well, I think my goal for the CEO is do what he wants to do, or she wants to do.
Correct.
Okay, so it does. If you want to stay in the business, if you want to stay in that business, great. I encourage. What you just talked about, all your 5 pillars, you get those going, and then taking that extra money and investing in other things.
That's right.
Just like
that might mean
you're
staying,
investing.
that might mean
whatever it is, and but it's each individual freedom to make that choice.
That's right. Yeah, and that's kind of where your passions, you're building a business to kind of get other people to support you and do the work, and you help create vision and help better their lives. And then that gives you the opportunity to go do more with it, whether that's humanitarian work, nonprofit work, family vacation, right? Buy the house of your dreams, the boat of your dreams, like whatever you're passionate about, right?
Right.
That's the goal to get there. And that doesn't mean selling your business. That can mean working in your business the rest of your life as the CEO. There's nothing wrong with either of
Absolutely
those.
not.
You just have to weigh and learn both options.
It's what path you want to take and what opportunities
Mhm.
arise.
That's right.
You could have kept your business, I'm sure, if you wanted to or whatever, and you saw that.
Absolutely.
It's just one of those things that you said, no, this is the opportunity that I want to go down, and here we are. That is
Yeah. You
that's
can't own the business and not be a part of it, right? And I think the
correct.
part
You
is
have to
like
be part of it.
you have to be a part of it. You have to be present. And if you're not going to be present, then it's time to transition. And for me, going and visiting and being present with other business owners and sitting in their business and writing and teaching at conferences and going on humanitarian trips draws me away too much from my business to say like I should still be sitting in the leadership role. It just
Right.
made more sense to transition that.
And thinking long term for people. And I've thought about myself, and I teach others. Maybe if you want to keep it, or whatever, you put somebody else in that position
Oh yeah.
to be the leader, and you just be
Mhm.
the owner and step back completely.
Mhm.
Make that
Yeah.
transition if that's what you want.
Mhm.
And it's another source of income for you that,
Mhm.
but if you're passionate about it but you got to hire the right people, that's the
Mhm.
real key, and make sure you get the right person in the right
It's
spot.
huge. That's right. But yeah, there's lots of ways, right? Like you don't just have to sell. You, like you said, just have somebody be the leader and
Yeah.
you transition that leadership. You do an ESOP and you let your employees own the business over time, and that
Yeah.
creates retention. And right, there's lots of different models than just like, I sold it, I'm out,
I'm done.
right?
Yay.
I'm done. I mean, Wall Street Journal wrote about, the next millionaire class in America is plumbers and HVAC owners because the majority of them are selling the majority share in their business. They're cashing out on millions of dollars. And every day they still get to work in their business. They just don't have the same weight of responsibility. But every day they're changing out water heaters and working on the team and helping train guys, and they still get to do what they love. But that pressure of like all the responsibility of owning the business is gone. And for some people, that's an amazing feeling because they worked their whole life to kind of get to that spot.
Absolutely. And if they don't want to work today, they just take off.
Yeah, it does come with probably like an 8-week vacation package.
Yeah,
I would think.
I'm something like that. So, where can we find that book of yours?
Amazon. Yeah,
Yeah.
here's what it looks like. It's
Yeah.
Get Shit Done. It's the cover, and you can find that on Amazon on Kindle and in book format. Audio is just about done being produced, so that'll be out soon as well. And yeah, I just encourage you, grab it, read it, hold on to it, pass it on to somebody. I think the goal of it will inspire you to be a better person and help you have the right pillars to grow your business or help grow the business you're currently in, or if you're thinking about starting a business, be able to use that as a tool to say, like, if I'm going to do a business, I'm going to start off on the right foot and have the right things in place, which so many of us don't do, unfortunately.
And you don't have to be a plumber to read it, I'm sure.
Oh no, it's not a plumbing spin at all. It's a trades contracting spin on there.
No, I hear
Obviously
you.
some plumbing stories in there, but and a little punny with the Get Shit Done title, but
Oh, yeah.
not but no, definitely not just for plumbers. That's not the goal of the book.
Well, in the show notes below, you will find a link to his book and how to contact him as well. Be a website, or are we going to LinkedIn or something like that?
Oh yeah, you can go to my website. So my nonprofit's called hopeforthetrades.com, and the book can be found on Amazon.
Awesome. If you're interested in joining Hope for the Trades to be able to travel overseas and help your time, that's available through that website.
Mm-hmm,
Is that right?
absolutely. Right.
Awesome.
Yeah. Sign up for a retreat. You need counseling. You want to get some resources. It's kind of like join the movement. If you want to help support the trades as a whole, that's the place to do it. And we're going to do a lot of great work for trades individuals, but for also other people, for those who are part of it.
Awesome. Thank you, Nate. And
Thank
if you
you.
guys want to talk about how you can go from hard hat to CEO, get out of those trenches and stop swinging that hammer and pushing that broom, then go to the show notes below, and you can also get a free consultation with me. We'll talk about how we can do that and what makes sense. Everybody, thank you, Nate. We're going to see you
Thank
again
you.
next week on another episode of Hard Headed CEO. God be with you till we meet again.